What's going on, guys? I want to share something with you. I'm going to keep this quick. Friday afternoon, I was on a Zoom call, coaching call with a client. And in the middle of that, I got a phone call from my dad. And I ignored that call because I'm like, hey, I'll call him, and I got 15 minutes left on this call. I'll call him back in about 15 minutes. And then I got a text. And I glanced at just the last part, and I froze, and I stopped hearing what was going on the coaching call. And basically the text said, your grandma is trying to get a hold of anybody and everybody, and grandpa fell in a pool and he didn't make it. And immediately like, oh my gosh. So I'm shutting the Zoom down, and I'm getting my shoes on and getting ready to get in the car and calling my dad all at the same time here, going, what is happening? Because he's 45 minutes away and I'm a good 18 minutes away. What is happening? And so long story short, it was a really bizarre scenario. I'll spare you all the details, but ultimately my grandpa's gone downhill quite a bit in the last year. And he did, for whatever reason, he was doing chemicals for the pool, and he lost his balance. Something happened, we don't know, hit his head on a rock, and he went down into the water. And the good thing was, I think the rock knocked him out, so it wasn't like this traumatic suffocation thing. But it was hard for my grandma to witness that. And then my uncle, who lives much closer, was there, and he had to pull the body out of the water. And it really, it kind of sucks. It's not quite the way you think you want somebody to go or yourself to go. But at the same time, he definitely is in a better place now. We take comfort in that. And I think whenever we deal with the scenario of death and a loved one, we lose a loved one, it gets us to thinking. And there's two things I want to share with you real quick. And like I said, I'm going to keep this short. Two things. One is when we experience that, it gets us to thinking about life and our life. And I think two primary questions come up. One of them being, are we living life to the fullest right here and right now? It's easy, I think, as men, businessmen, entrepreneurs, all these things, is we have this picture in our mind of what we want our life to be like. And yet sometimes we're like, well, we'll get there, just got to keep plugging along now. And we tend to justify certain things. We tend to justify maybe not spending as much time with our family, with our kids, our relationship with God, or even our health. Sometimes we let certain things go because if I can just get the business to a certain place, then we can start living life much fuller. And the problem with that is years can go by. I've had many clients that are older and they regret those earlier years when they were making a ton of money, but yet they missed their kids' childhood. And so that is not living life to the fullest. Jesus said he came to give life and life more abundant. Are we living an abundant life now? And you might have an idea of what that looks like, but I want to challenge you today to really take some time to think about that. What does living life abundantly look like? Is it even possibly taking advantage of even the small things, the little moments in life? Instead of looking at that thing or the kid knocking on the door while you're trying to do a Zoom call, instead of looking at that as an annoyance, look at that as something special because your kid actually wants to spend time with you. So are you living life to the fullest right now? The second question that I have, and it kind of started getting me thinking, is are we making an impact? If I was to die today, what would people say? What kind of impact have I made in lives around me? I know death is not a fun thing to think about, but are you living life to the fullest, and are you making an impact on your family? Are you making an impact on those people around you? Are you making an impact on your staff, on your customers, your clients, the people that come into contact with you? Are you making an impact, a positive impact? where if you were to die today, they would say, man, that guy was awesome. He always made me feel better. I love being around. All of that. Or would it be like, oh, so-and-so died. All right, bummer. Because ultimately, we've been put on this earth for a reason. God has placed you on this earth for a reason. Are you living that reason out? That's all I have today. Short, sweet, to the point. Are you living life to the fullness? And are you making an impact and doing the things that God has put you on this earth to do? Because time is going by and we don't get that time back. So think about that. Take some time today to think about that. Get alone and actually really chew on that and take those questions before God even and say, God, am I? Am I making an impact? Am I living life the way that you have designed it? Or have I settled and believed a lie? All right, guys. God bless.